What is up, YouTube land? It's Crazy Joe with Odyssey Off-Road here, and yep, we're doing some more crazy stuff. We're in the ZR2. Bed is empty. We're going to pick up another dirt bike. Oh man, I know. WR450 still in the garage. Relax. So this is going to be a small bore two-stroke. You guys probably seen the thumbnail already. So, if you guys seen my social media stuff, follow me on Instagram, Odyssey_Off-Road. If you don't already, you kind of get a sneak peek as to what may be coming here on the channel. And I threw up a poll on there, and I threw up a poll on my YouTube channel about, you know, which bike of some two small bore two strokes that I was looking at would you guys rather see. And I had another poll too with another bike, and so I was kind of looking at a YZ125X. I flirted with one of those. I got a price on one of those out the door for really cheap, actually. I found a leftover one, 24 in Yuma, and they were going to blow it out cheap for me. But ultimately, I'm getting this TE150 for about the same price, and it's so much more bike. You know, it's fuel injected, so there's no fiddling with carb jetting. It's got a headlight. You have the information, the gauge cluster, you know, the speedometer and all that stuff. So you get a lot more for the money. No kickstart, electric start, you know, stuff like that. But the two bikes I really was battling over for probably a couple weeks, deciding which one to go with, is I got a price on this TE150. It's a leftover 2024 model, which I really like the graphics on. You'll see in a minute. And I also got a price on a 2025 KTM 125 XC. Man, I went back and forth on which one I wanted. I got some conflicting opinions from people on which one to get. I had a friend tell me to get the 125 XC, and then I had a couple people tell me I should get the Husqvarna. I was kind of leaning towards the Husky anyway, but part of me kind of really wanted the KTM. It's just a cool looking bike. It's pre-mix, no oil injection. Really sharp looking. The 25s are all orange and black, and but ultimately I chose the 150 because it was the same price out the door, and more bike for the money. Power curve too is drastically different. The 150, you get about 2.5 more horsepower and about another 2.5 pound-feet of torque more than the 125. But the main difference is the power comes on totally different. The 150 is not a screamer. The TBI 150s anyway aren't a screamer like the 125s are. The 125s are just all top end on the pipes screaming. That's where all the power is. There's like nothing at the bottom. The 150s, the power curve is shifted down lower in the curve, so you get more torque right off idle, because it's a trail enduro bike, so they tune it that way. Plus, it's a 150, so that extra 25 cc's, you get a little bit more oomph at the bottom. You know, it's not going to be a big bore two-stroke by any means, but it is going to be significantly better than the 125 for, you know, poking around trail riding. And so the power curve is all on the bottom. If you want to get a small bore two-stroke and you want to be screaming it all the time, get the 125. That's what that's for. The 150 is not designed for that. There's not much over rev on the 150s from what I'm told. They sign off early. You know, it's all mid-range and low. So gonna be a fun bike. I'm gonna pick it up here. I got this bike at a screaming deal. Like, I could literally ride this bike probably for a few months, and if I was like, man, this is not for me, I don't like it, I could turn around and sell it for what I'm paying for it. That's how cheap I'm getting it. And I got the same price on that KTM. So I chose the Husky. It's within, you know, 30 minutes of my house to the dealer. It's the only Husqvarna dealer local to me. I flirted with a couple betas, but I couldn't get them at the price I wanted. I could have got a 125 beta, but again, I didn't want to go with the 125. And I could have got a 200 beta race edition, but it was way more money than this TE150 out the door. And I just, you know, for a second bike, I didn't want to spend that much. I think this 150 TE Husqvarna is going to be really fun and a good complement to having the big bore four-stroke on the channel. You know, I can really set them up for two different things, and they'll cross over a little bit, you know, but kind of want to set them up for two different things, and two different use case scenarios. So it'll be a lot of fun. let me get it in the truck. We'll get it home, do a little walk around on it, show you guys the bike, and talk about it a little bit. And then you guys can leave comments on what you think. And, you know, how long you think I'm keeping these bikes, the WR and the Husky. Leave a comment. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And I'm sure you're all placing bets already on which bike's going and which bikes I'm keeping and how long they'll stay around. So I always say I'm keeping stuff, and then I don't end up doing it. I realize that. So, but it keeps it entertaining, right? At the least. So we'll catch up with you guys here in 2 seconds. Let me pick the bike up, throw it in the bed, and get it in the garage. So thanks for watching. Well, there it is, guys. You talk and I listen. I did the post on social media, like I said before, and you guys on YouTube, on the YouTube poll anyway, overwhelmingly chose the Husky over the KTM 125. I was leaning in that direction anyway, kind of like I said earlier in the video, but it's nice to know that that's what you guys prefer to see as well. On Instagram, it was a little closer. It was like 55 to 45% Husky versus the KTM, but get a little quick walk around. So again, this is a 2024 model. It's brand new. It was left over, and it's the TE150. I took it up the block, and man, is it quiet. That's the first thing I can tell you is it's very quiet. Didn't really get a great feel for it, honestly. I just went around the road. I just wanted to start it up, make sure everything was good when I got home, warm it up. I took it around the block, went through all the gears, brought it, got it hot, brought it home. Tomorrow morning, probably, I'm gonna take it out on its first ride. I'll record that. Actually, I'm probably gonna go out and break it in, I'll be honest with you, kind of get a feel for the bike. And then I'll come back, change the fluid. After 1 hour, you have to change the transmission fluid, and then we'll go out together. I'll put you guys on the helmet, and we'll do a first ride, initial impressions kind of with yous. And I like the graphics. I like the yellow fender, really nice. This is where I got it from. They have some killer deals right now. Still, they don't have anything 2024 left over, but that's where I bought it from in Tucson. Good dudes over there. They hooked me up. They actually gave me a set of pegs. Let me get them for you, I'll show you. So this is what they gave me. The owner walked in when I was paying for the bike and doing the final paperwork. And he said, here, give these a shot. Let us know what you think. I guess the owner's son had gotten them for his bike. But ended up not using them. So they're brand new, pivot pegs. I've heard some good things about them. So I'll throw them on there, give them a shot. If they fit the, I don't know if they'll fit the Yamaha. He says they fit this bike. I don't know if they'll fit the Yamaha. We do still have the WR. Might not, because that looks a little bigger in there, but might be cool to try it on that bike too. That's a lot more of a rigid chassis, so it might be beneficial on that. But I'll measure them and see if they fit. Maybe we'll give them a whirl on the Yamaha if they fit. Otherwise, I do want to try them. I'll throw them on here and see, give my impressions on that. They're supposed to kind of pivot like your foot, like back and forth a little bit. They kind of move a little, they give. So supposedly they work really well. I watched a couple of reviews on YouTube on them after he'd given them to me and I left, and people seem to like them. So, and I got myself another quart of premix oil, a quart of transmission oil as well. A spare spark plug, just in case. Always carry a spare plug with a 2-stroke. Never know. Out on the trail, a fell plug. It's actually one thing with this 150, as opposed to the 250 and 300, you can get to the plug without pulling the tank up. I can get my hand in there. You can get a wrench in there, loosen that up, pop the wire off, and get a ratchet in there or whatever, and get the plug out. Probably still would be easier to take a shroud off, but in a pinch, you could do it if you didn't have any tools to get the tank off. Tank and the shrouds on these bikes come off in one piece. You just take these 2 bolts off here, on the radiator. The one bolt slide the seat off, and then there's a bolt that holds the tank down from the top, and the whole thing will just come right off. And you can kind of just prop it up and get to the spark plug there. But so suspension, all that stuff, the whole chassis, everything's the same as the 250s and the 300s, and even the 4-strokes. It's all the same stuff. It's just smaller motor. So this is a 24, so they didn't have the Brembo brakes on the 24. It was the Brake Tech. That's the only bummer of this one. But honestly, I mean, going around, I went around the road with it, like I said, around the neighborhood quick, and they felt fine to me. I'm not a racer. I'm not a pro rider. You know, I doubt I'm gonna feel a difference in all honesty, so that doesn't really concern me. I did verify, because it is a 24, when this is the first model year of the TBI bikes, of the TBI TE bikes anyway, the enduro line. And there were some updates for the mapping. So I did make sure that they updated the maps, with the updated ones from KTM or Husqvarna, same thing. Before I picked it up, and they did say they went through it and did all that stuff. All the software updates have been done. They also changed the transmission oil, since it's a 2-year leftover and it was sitting. So that's got fresh fluid in it, which is going to get dumped in an hour anyway, because after you run it in, you dump it. And that is it with that. I went through the whole bike, checked everything, checked the fork pinch bowls, my usual process for bringing a new bike home before I take it out for the first time, air pressure. Make sure all that stuff's good. Everything looks good. It seemed like they did a nice job. One thing you may notice, there's a couple little bubbles here on the plastic. I bought some Expel wrap, like they use the self-healing clear adhesive. It's a like people get their cars wrapped in Expel, and it's self-healing. So if like you scratch it, supposedly it's supposed to go away on its own. I don't know how true that is or how good it works, but I just bought a small roll of it on Amazon. You can get it, and it comes in a box. There's Expel. Comes with a squeegee and everything, and I just put it right where my legs are going to be. So I put it right here. I covered this whole panel, and I put a piece right down there. Same thing on the other side. I covered the airbox lid. The entire airbox lid is covered, is wrapped, and then down through here. So because within the one ride, you get a little dust or dirt in between your leg and on the plastics, and it rubs in, and it just turns the plastics brown. And the only way to get that off is you have to actually compound the plastics off. It's not a big deal, it comes right out, but the first time you go back out on a ride, it's like that again. So if you want to keep it looking semi-newish, that's a little trick. We'll see how it holds up. I'm not a pro installer. It went on fairly easy. Trimming the edges was the biggest pain in the neck. So who knows? I might have done a really bad job and it might start peeling off on me. So then that'll be the end of that experiment. But for now, we'll see how it works. I really dig the yellow on this graphic scheme. I like this better than the 25 250 I had, where it was mostly all white and just had like a blue and yellow here with the Husqvarna symbol. Everything else was all white. I like this, more breaks it up. You got that nice faded in blue line, and then the yellow that carries through into the fender. Really nice. I like it a lot. I'll take those off. I just left them off for the video. Shout those guys out. First time I've ever bought anything from that dealer, and I do got to say, the customer service was terrific. Really nice people. While I was there, I forgot to grab the box of spare stuff they give you for the bike, like the hardware for if you take the flag style handguards off and you go to full wraps, or if you just want to run nothing, there's hardware that gives you the black rubber boot that goes over your brake lever and your clutch lever, and different bolts. So if you eliminate these, and then it comes with some fuel filters, the wake up plug, the wake up dongle, and it's like this one to like primes the fuel pump, the oil pump, and all that stuff. I forgot all that stuff, and I didn't even think to ask when I left. And then my salesman called me. He said, I got this box on my desk, so I'll have to go pick that up next week. Not a big deal. So tomorrow will be the break-in for it. We'll do a little ride. Plans are, I wanted a two-stroke, small bore two-stroke initially. They just seem fun. It's very light. When this bike's on its wheels, I mean, you can rock it back and forth, but hold the handlebars and tilt it over. It's extremely light feeling. So I think it's going to be a riot on the trails. So I'm really anxious to get it out there and test it out, see how it does. Since I've had the Husqvarna 250, it'd be really interesting to compare the two now that I've had that one and this one, see which one I actually like better. There's a couple things about that 250 that I just didn't jive with me. I loved the chassis and the suspension, but the motor was just, I don't know. It was like it was an inconsistent the way it ran, I felt like, always. And I had the TSP tune in it and everything, and it helped a lot, but there was something about that engine. Just didn't, I don't know. I rode my buddy's 300 and it's got a different feel to it. This 150 just going around the road, I can tell you. It's really, seems very crisp. You know, once it gets to operating temperature, it warms up and it gets out of the warm up, the cold start map, and it gets into the regular mapping. It really cleans up. And it seems really crisp. Like it didn't seem, my 250 always had like this dead spot. It seemed like somewhere in the low RPM range. This one seems much crisper. I'm curious too to try the different maps on this 150 because supposedly they're opposite of the bigger ones, the 250 and the 300. The white map's the richer map, and the green map is the spicier map. On this bike, on the 150, the green map, the white map's supposed to be your standard map, and the green map makes it richer. So different than the way the 250s and the 300s are. So I'll be curious to see how that actually translates out in the dirt. And if that's accurate or not. But that's what they say. That's what the owner's manual says too. So we'll see. But this is it, man. We're gonna keep the WR. We still got that. So that'll still be on the channel. I actually have some content coming out on this shortly. So that'll be there on the channel, and then we'll have the first impressions ride review of this bike too. So stay tuned for that stuff. But this is a quick little walk around. Again, this is the throttle body injected one. You have the oil injection. Fill up the oil here if you're not familiar. All the same as the 250s and the 300s. These have been out for a while now. Most people are pretty familiar, but you have the oil injection. This is the throttle body injection, not the transfer port injection. So it's like regular 4-stroke fuel injected, only you have the oil injection as well, right there. And that is it. Really nice. I have the suspension set on comfort setting right now. And we'll start there. I'll stiffen it up as I need. Usually comfort is pretty soft. My buddy Scott on his 300, he likes it really soft. He has it softer than comfort, I think. He's got it 2 clicks softer than comfort when he rides. But I remember when I had my 250, I think I settled on having it on standard for more of a medium, faster pace stuff. It seems to hold up better. But because the suspension is way softer than the KYB on the WR. So that's the biggest takeaway in the two suspensions. Both high quality stuff, just tuned completely different. Again, this is the closed cartridge stuff. This is not the old open cartridge stuff. This is the closed cartridge exact forks. So these forks are really, really good. And I think that it's gonna be a lot of fun on the trail with this small motor, light package. It's gonna be a blast. So stay tuned for more. Again, we'll have the other video coming out probably maybe a week after this one drops. We'll have that one. I got some dune content coming up too on the Raptor that I just got back from California dunes. I got some footage for that. So plenty of stuff coming. WR content coming shortly as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Appreciate you guys checking out this one. If you got any questions about this bike in particular, anything you want me to find out for you or give you my opinions on after I get on the bike and get some seat time on it, leave a comment below, let me know. If you have a TE150, let me know how you like it. I know there's a ton of guys out there that I've seen with the TPI 150s. I haven't seen too much content on the TBI, the newer ones. So I'm very anxious to get this out and see how it compares to what people say about the older models. So stay tuned, guys. Smash that thumbs up button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Joe with Odyssey Off-Road. And we'll see you guys on the next one.